Hello everyone, thank you for clicking on the video and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something that I am extremely interested in, a test that I've wanted to do for a long time. We're going to compare three very popular methods of heating water outdoors: a traditional fire on the ground, a stick stove and a gasifier stove. Each method has its own strengths and weaknesses and we're going to see which one boils water the most efficiently. Let's get started. First of all, we need to go and collect some wood. So this pile of wood is from an oak that I had brought down about 2 years ago. Unfortunately, the tree was diseased and it was leaning across the path, so I had to remove it. But this wood has been here, lying here, drying for about 2 to 3 years. It's bone dry, so it's going to be absolutely perfect. And that should be more than enough. So let's look at the contenders. In the red corner, we have, well, nothing. I'm going to get the fire going directly on the ground. The ground's not perfectly dry, so I am going to layer a bed of wood and put the fire lighter on top. In the blue corner, our first contender, we have a titanium twig stove. Let's get this set up. Simple titanium twig stove. It's got 4 sides, a base and a little ridge that goes around the top. And there we go. And in the, well, we got red, we got blue, so maybe this is the mauve corner. In the mauve corner, we have this Toaks Titanium Gasifier wood stove. It's got 3 individual components here and they go together like this. That slots into here. And then this just goes on the top and you cook on top of this. But as you can see, this is brand new and I've not actually used this particular item before. It's one of the reasons why I want to run this test. I do know that lots of stoves that people have in their homes, wood burning stoves people have in their homes, all use this same gasifier technique with the secondary combustion system. It's all exactly the same principle. So it'd be interesting to see what the differences are in terms of boil time and fuel usage. So here we have our 3 contenders side by side. It's worth saying a little bit more about how this particular test is going to work and how I'm going to try and make it as fair as I can be. First of all, we're going to test plain wood. Because the ground's quite wet, I am going to use this small chock of wood to light the fire on. Each of the fires will be lit with 1 small fire plug to help me get it going. I am going to be interested in how quickly is the fire hot enough to boil and how quickly does it actually boil the water. So 2 measurements that I'm going to be looking at for this. Each time I'm going to use the same kettle and I'm going to use 1 cup's worth of water, which I'll measure out exactly. And at the end, I'm going to make myself a coffee and hopefully enjoy it in as quick a time as I can. These are the fire plugs that I'm going to be using. You twist them around, get some fibers going like this, light it with a standard lighter. Brilliant. Try that again. Light it with a standard lighter and let's get some wood on. Just started the timer on that, so whilst that's going, I'm going to measure out my water. So it'll be 1 of these cups and I'm going to stop about 1 centimetre from the top. We now have flames coming out of the top and I think we're going to call that there. So that is 3 minutes and 30 seconds and I'm going to put the water on the top. I'm going to call that a rolling boil and we are at 11 minutes. Next, we have the standard stick stove. Nothing special going on here, just some bits of titanium connected up together. Let's get the fire going in here. Get this fluffed up a little bit. There we go. And layer in some sticks. So interestingly, the fire on the ground required so much wood, I had to go and collect some more. It essentially used an entire bucket. I'm interested to see if this is going to be significantly less. Already looks to me like it's going better, and I think that's primarily because of the shape of the stick stove directing all of the flames upwards, basically forcing me to make a better designed fire. Harder to get wrong. This is the kettle. It's now cool to touch. So I'm going to refill this with water again. I can see that this is almost ready. This is 2 minutes in and this is almost looking like I need to put some more sticks. I need to put the water on it. Already going nicely. 0 oxygen I've had to blow into here. I'd say that's going nicely now. That took about 3 minutes, 10 seconds to get going. So I'm now going to add the water onto the top. And the clock started on the water. We're 3 minutes, 36 seconds in, and you can hear we've already got some boiling sounds coming from the water. Let's see if we can actually see inside of that. I'd say that's a rolling boil. So that's 3 minutes, 36 seconds for the stick stove. It's going amazingly now. Okay, last up, we've got the Gasifier stove. I'm really excited about this stove. It is a much smaller device, so it's only going to be useful for boiling a kettle, really, because of the size of the item. But we'll see how quickly and efficiently it burns. Let's take a quick look at it now. So it's much smaller. We've got the firebox inside with the gasifier outlets around the edges. And then we've got the raised section here that ensures that you've got flames coming up and licking around the outside of the kettle. Let's get it lit. Brilliant. Again, I feel like the shape of the stove is helping it get going, because you're forced to build a stove where all the sticks are pointing upwards, so there's more surface area for the flames. Problem with this stove is I don't see a good angle in which I can blow it, add oxygen into it myself. Let's see how it goes. So that's 2 minutes to get it going, and I've had to add 0 oxygen. Now I'm going to add the water on the top. That is as precarious as it looks. That is definitely an issue with this design of stove. But let's see how long it takes to boil. I'm trying to see if I can see any evidence of the secondary combustion inside. I'm pretty sure those flames and that glowing orange is coming from that, but it's very hard to see. Let's have a look and see what we've got underneath this. Oh yeah, that's going nicely. So we're 8 minutes in on the gasifier. I've had to lift off the kettle a few times to reload it with fuel, because you can't get it in from the front or the side. There is quite a large cavity on the front, but certainly not big enough to insert any actual sticks into. It also has the issue of it is very precarious. It is extremely easy to knock this over, and the actual the top component, that the height that's given to it, the top component, very easy to fall off. It doesn't fit into the base easily at all, which is a bit of a design flaw with them, which is a real shame. I had high hopes for this, and so far it's taken longer. It's required 0 oxygen. I haven't really had to blow into it to keep it going. When I have, I found that's disrupted the airflow and not assisted. I'd say that's a rolling boil. I feel like it's just off the boil. It's not quite there. It's enough for coffee, but it's not enough for a cup of tea. Luckily, I'm having coffee. In total, this has taken about the same amount of time as the actual fire did, but has been less effort for me. We're at 11 minutes and 40 seconds. Cheers. 1 cup of coffee. It's only instant, but it'll do. One thing that wasn't instant was boiling the water with any of the 3 systems that we used here today. All of them took quite significantly longer than just using gas. The best one was the stick stove. I think it's primarily down to the design of the actual device. It was much easier to construct the fire within it. It was easier to feed sticks into. I could use bigger sticks than certainly I could do in the Toaks Gasifier stove. So all in all, that's the better item. It packs down really small. You don't notice it, and it's lightweight. Whereas the Toaks item, obviously because it's cylindrical, is much harder to put anywhere, and it gets dirty, and it's much harder to clean out inside. So that's my final conclusion. For the task of boiling up some water, the quickest and easiest system is a simple plain stick stove. No messing around with gasifiers or anything like that. There are too many downsides with the Toaks Titanium gasifier stove that I've got, which I'm pretty annoyed about because I spent extra money in order to get the titanium version to make it lightweight. I'd watched a YouTube video, it looked like it was going to be a really fast item to cook and boil over, but it's too unstable and too slow and too difficult to feed the fire. Whereas the large Lixada stick stove that I've got, extremely easy to load, very easy to pack down. It weighs, I mean, I want to say it almost weighs nothing. It's so incredibly light. So that's what I'll be taking for my future trips. But all I'm going to do now is sit here, enjoy the woodland, and have a nice cup of coffee. Thanks very much, and I'll see you on the next one.